Good day, citizens. I thought it'd be kind of fun for this month's newsletter to kind of not just write what's going on, but maybe bring you out into some of the projects that we've got going on around the city. Besides that, it's fall in Washington City, and there's nothing more delightful than being outside after the heat of the summer and enjoying just this wonderful weather that we're having. If you did pay attention and had the opportunity to read the October newsletter, you'll have read and seen a little infographic that talked about that a great deal of our capital improvement funds this year is going to the building of new roads. And this is largely due to our growth, of course. We're easily what would be called in the Old West time a boom town right now, which I guess, even though it has its problems, being a boom town is better than being a dying town, but we have to deal with the challenges that are before us. So I'm going to take just a few minutes today and talk about a few of those road projects this upcoming year. I'm standing right now out in Washington Fields. What's behind me is the extension of Merrill Drive, or Merrill Road, which we're in the middle of working on right now. This became extremely important to us as an east-west connector in the fields, which is always one of our challenging connectors, when St. George City, just to the west of us, put in the Mall Bridge Drive. Almost from day one, the traffic increased substantially going east and west throughout the Washington Fields area. And one of those places that they traveled through was this old farm road right here that I'm standing on, which was just simply horrifying. We had blind corners. It was narrow. We didn't even have ownership of the road, so it was difficult to maintain. And so Merrill Road, or Merrill Drive, has been on our books for many, many years to complete. Merrill Drive exists right now from, as I mentioned, Mall Bridge Drive to about 20 East here in the fields, at which time it terminated. This project will continue that extension at 20 East, loop down and connect to the Washington Fields Road, creating a four-way intersection at Washington Fields Road and Lost Ridge Drive. This is a project that is estimated to cost between $2.6 and $2.7 million, all of which are funds that the city has acquired. This project, if you've been driving around this area, will know that it's been going on for a while. It started in August, and we're anticipating a completion at the end of November on this particular road. And once this road is completed, then it'll take some pressure off 2000 and 3090 and again create a nice two-way traffic going east and west through the Washington Fields as we deal with this continued growth out in this area. So for this road, I'm standing completely opposite of where I was just a moment ago with Merrill Drive out there in Washington Fields. I'm up here in what you all know as the Green Springs area. The Green Spring development, of course, is behind me. I-15 sits off to the right of me. And this project is known as the Washington Parkway Road. And the reason it's called Washington Parkway is because it'll tie into our Washington Parkway interchange, or approximately milepost 13. This is a larger project, quite a bit larger than Merrill Road, and it's also involving the federal funds with this project as well. And because of that, there's some additional complications. Things like some additional environmental work, which has all been completed at this point, and some other hoops that we have to jump through. But what that does is that creates a road that essentially costs about $5.5 million. But of that, $4.2 million is coming from federal road funds, with the remainder being made up by Washington City. Now, the purpose of this particular road, we hope, because it will connect at the upper end of Green Springs to Washington Parkway and I-15, is it will relieve some pressure off the Green Springs interchange. Right now, Green Springs is basically served by one inlet and outlet road, and that is Green Springs Drive. The funny thing we learn about traffic is a lot like ants. They typically follow the path of least resistance and the path that will get them from point A to point B the quickest. And so we believe with the construction of this road that individuals, residents who are either coming from Green Spring or traveling to Green Spring will choose to use this road, taking some pressure off Green Springs Drive. Certainly those who are traveling north on I-15 would use it, and hopefully those who are avoiding the congestion of Green Springs Drive will also use this important road for us. So I'm now at the third road location, and I've been south out in the Washington Fields, I've been north up in the Green Springs area, and now I'm in the downtown area. So as you can see, these road projects are being spread out all throughout the city. I'm actually standing on Main Street downtown, and this, as I mentioned, is our third project, which is the Main Street project. This is a $4.2 approximately $1 million project, all of which are coming from Washington City funds. And the purpose of this enhancement is to not only enhance the design of Main Street, but also to add some beautification to this area of our community. One of the things that this design will have is similar to Flood Street in St. George. It'll have what we call an inverted crown, but different than Flood Street, it'll be a beautifully landscaped center medium that'll pick up any flood water that might come down through this area. But it's an expensive project because it's a complicated project. We have about every utility that we could think of in the streets that we have to deal with, including irrigation, and we have to make sure and do that in such a way as that it remains uninterrupted with our citizens along this street. This also will include a significant beautification process for Main Street with trees and some vegetation that will not only be in the center medium, as I mentioned, but in some of the pop-outs as well. Anyway, that should begin in January with hopefully a completion in around June or July. So those are the three road projects that make up a big chunk, as you can tell from the dollar amount, of our capital projects this upcoming year. And again, these are projects that we have to do in order to stay in front of the growth that's there with us, but these will improve the overall quality of life for our citizens while maintaining our sense of feeling like home.